Hey Redemption, Pastor Daniel Davis here, lead pastor, Redemption Church, and I'm walking a familiar place for a lot of you there, our church building right there, and I wanted to update you about some things regarding this place. We are now at 10 weeks since we have all gathered in this spot together to worship Jesus, to hear the Word of God preached, and I think it's important to remember why it's been so long. Why have we had to do this? And I mean, the coronavirus, has spread across our country. So many people have been sick. So many people lost their lives, and everyone, including churches, were challenged to make changes, to put aside our gatherings, to protect the vulnerable. To make sure that our neighbors are safe, that the virus would spread more slowly, to give our medical communities the capacity to deal with what's been happening with the virus. But now with the state reopening, our hope is that some of you will come in these doors again there. I have missed seeing you from this place. For the last 10 weeks, like I said, we've been gathering remotely. So from our homes, watching videos, doing Zoom meetings, and I know the question on a lot of your minds is, when are we going to come back together? And so I have some exciting things to announce for you as it relates to our getting back together. So where we're headed now is today we're announcing a plan to open back up. But before we tell you the details of what we're doing, we want to address why we are starting up now. We're starting back up because after having had meetings with staff, participating in Zoom calls with state officials and city officials, discussing with the elders and surveying the church, we feel like it is time to begin meeting in person again. That as things are reopening and as the case numbers are not going up as quickly, we can begin to get together again with the proper precautions in place. And so Redemption Church, as we surveyed you, about 70% of you who have filled out the survey have said you're ready to start meeting together again starting in June. About 30% of you aren't ready yet. And we want you to know that whether you're ready or whether you're not ready, we love you, and we're going to be reaching out to you regardless. So we'll continue to do our online gatherings. We'll continue to stream our services so that people can watch from home if you're in a vulnerable situation or you're going to be with vulnerable people. And so I want to make sure that you know that whatever happens, whether you're ready to come back or you're not ready to come back yet, we love you and you are still a part of our family. So following the lead of the state officials, considering the readiness of our church body, we're going to move towards regathering as a church family on Sundays on June 7th. And so some of you might be asking, why are we waiting till June? Texas is reopened, let's just get back in the building. And to you, just a couple of things. First, thank you for your enthusiasm, right? We miss you too. We are ready to be back together. But there's two things that we want to do over the rest of the month of May and as we get ready for June 7th. And those two things are, one, we want to get prepared. We want to spend some time getting the materials that we need, writing the protocols we need, building the volunteer teams that we need, getting the live streaming video equipment that we need, so that when we come back together, we are ready to come back together and have all of the proper pieces of equipment ready, the volunteers trained so that we can do it well. The second thing we want to do in waiting till early June is we'll have about a month of Texas having been reopened to see what the virus is doing. So kind of watching the data over the next few weeks, making sure that things are continuing to get safer and not less safe, so that we're being cautious for the vulnerable among us. And so that's it. That's why we're waiting till June. So now, what's the plan? I'm sure you all want to know what the plan is. First, I need you to know, I'm going to tell you a plan, and it is written in pencil, written in dry erase marker. This thing can change, and it can change in lots of different ways. It can change because the virus has spiked again and we're having to ramp things down. It could change because things have gone really well and the numbers are so good that we're able to lift some more of our precautions. But for now, we're going to give you a plan that we think is wise, and it comes in 4 stages. And stage 1 is what we're already doing. What I said earlier is stage 1 is we are preparing and learning, right? So we're preparing our church facilities, we're preparing our teams, we're watching the data to make sure we're on the right path. So that's stage 1, preparation. That's for the whole month of May. So if you sign up to be on a team to help out with cleaning, to help out with being an usher, to help out with audio-visual needs, then be expecting an email from Jason over the next few weeks, because he's going to be busy training you as to how we're going to get back together and do things once things start back up. So that's stage 1. Stage 2, starting on June 7th, we're going to have a hopeful and loving reopening. Starting June 7th, we're going to be returning to our public gatherings, but instead of just 2 services, we're going to have 3 services. And so those services are going to be 8 o'clock, 9:30, and 11 o'clock. And they're going to be short. They're going to be 55 minutes each. So kind of fewer songs, no meet and greet time, no Redemption Kids. Those are some really important things to know, that we are going to make sure that we have good protocol. We've spread out the seating here in our sanctuary, so there's room. There's room for about 50 people to be here. And that's intentional. We want to keep our social distancing. We want to keep some mitigation strategies here at our facility so that we can continue to protect the vulnerable, to not contribute to the spread of the virus. And so that's those 3 services are going to be kid-friendly. They're going to be clean. We are going to have communion. I've been missing celebrating the Lord's Supper with you, but as we come back together, we will celebrate the Lord's Supper, but we're going to do that in kind of a different way, that's very careful and cautious as far as cleanliness goes. And so you'll see that whenever you come, and you might think that that's kind of interesting what we've decided to do, but I'll leave it as a cliffhanger for you, and we'll see you then. Also, for the month of June at least, we're going to ask that we wear masks during the service. If you're part of the church service, we just ask that you wear a mask. And this is not because we're afraid. It is because we want to love our neighbors well. And this would help people who are feeling nervous to feel safer, and it also would continue to protect our church from maybe unknowingly spreading the virus. And so if you need some help preparing for that, I know parents, if you haven't had your kids in the service very much because they've been in Redemption Kids, I understand that's kind of an intimidating prospect, and I'm thankful Amber Reynolds has a curriculum sort of set up it's called Big Enough for Big Church, and we've done it for our kids who've sort of been aging out of their Sunday school classes and are ready to come into Big Church. And so we're just going to make that available to the parents, and so be expecting some information there as far as preparing your kids. Also be prepared to start serving, and also just please pray that phase 2 would go well, that during that time that the virus numbers continue to go down, and that we have just a wide open door to move into phase 3. Phase 3 isn't terribly different. Phase 3, what we're going to see, we're going to increase our capacity here in our worship center a little bit more. We're going to reopen our missional communities. That's going to be happening. Stage 3 is going to be in August, and so expect to see our missional communities open back up. Expect to have more people in our worship gatherings. And so we're just kind of like widening our capacity, opening up our homes for stage 3. Stage 4 is when we hope to be fully reopened. That doesn't mean everything's going to be just the same as when we left, but it does mean that we're going to try to have everything sort of fully operational as it will be moving forward. And so that means our Redemption Kids ministry will come back online. We're going to be talking about adult Bible studies and how to continue to do that over the course of this time. But we will continue to do all of those things. And that's stage 4 in September. God willing, we'll get this done. Again, it's all written in pencil, wet erase marker, whatever chalk, whatever your whatever removable writing mechanism you can think of. We are trying our best to do what is right. And it can all be changed by what the virus does in our area. I recognize that some of you might have different ideas about what's appropriate. Maybe we're moving too fast. Maybe some of you think we're moving too slow. Some of you think we're making too many precautions. Some of you think we're not taking enough precautions. And the goal for us, guys, is I don't want us to look back and say, see, I was right about that. I don't want this to be about who was right and who is wrong. What this moment in the church desperately needs is that we would look at one another and say, wherever you stand on this, we love you. And so let's not make this about who's right and who's wrong, who's being fearful, who's being reckless. Let's make this about how can we love our neighbors? How can we serve our neighbors? And let's make that the goal, right? What's the great commandment? That we love the Lord our God with all of our heart, soul, mind, and strength, that we love our neighbors as ourselves. And so guys, June 7th. And June 7th is going to be a special day because that is the 1-year anniversary of Redemption Church. We merged churches. Our first gathering was June 2nd, 2019, and here we are a year later. We're even calling our 1-year anniversary sermon, the title is going to be Better Together 2.0, because we had a sermon series called Better Together as we were moving toward the merger, and we were 2 churches being made one, and now we've been scattered across and get to come back together for our 1-year anniversary. And I mean, I think now, more than even last year, we're going to really resonate with the fact that, like, we were made to be in community. We are better, not separated, scattered, but drawn together, united by the love of Jesus. So Redemption, I am excited to see you back in this room, back in these chairs. I love you. And I'm so thankful for all that you've done to endure this season with patience and with faithfulness and with love. We'll see you very soon, Redemption. Love you.